Okay, this next video I'm going to do, it's kind of entering into what people will call the conspiracy theory realm. But if you really look deeply into this, there's a lot of people that have suddenly passed away, is the way I could put it. I want to say passed away, and what's weird is they all pass away in the same way, and that's by sudden heart attack, suddenly some incurable cancer, car accident, or suicide. And this is where I'm going to get into this, the famous rapper Coolio, who I'm sure many of you didn't know this, and I did until I ran into this video and I started reading a little bit about him. But he wanted to come out and talk about sex trafficking going on within the Hollywood arena and the government arena, and how he wanted to come out and talk about it. And he was fearful because he had family that he really cared about. He himself in this video talks about he's not really worried about himself dying, but he's worried about people that he loves getting killed, because there's some really bad people out there that he was going to expose, and he was fearful about it. So the question I'm posing, was Coolio killed? Was he brought to his knees and disposed of by the deep state, the CIA, the FBI, and Hollywood elites? Because this is what he's asserting to. This is what he's talking about when he does this video. And again, I'm going to read you a list of people who were about to come out against this so-called cabal of child molesters, child trafficking people who involve in this thing that people call a conspiracy. Now, I don't know enough about it. I read little bits and pieces about it. I never really want to talk about it because there's really not much else I can say other than what I've read. But it's interesting because you have this group of people who are always about to come out, and then they have suddenly die, and all in pretty much the same way. But this is the interesting thing. One of the ways these people die is through sudden heart attacks. Now, people can say, well, people die of heart attacks all the time. True. But do people die of heart attacks all the time when they're about to come out against government entities? And when you really delve into this, did you know that we have government testimony from 1975? And I'm going to show you that right here. How they talk about how they can kill people and they will have a heart attack, and how they kill them won't show up in any other way but a heart attack. And I'm going to show you that testimony right here. So my question again is, I want you to watch the video by Coolio. Was Coolio one of these people that many talk about who was suddenly sent his expiration date by the government of the United States of America? Before I show you the video, I want to show you all these people. And when I read this, it was pretty shocking. All these people who have suddenly died in all the same way, who were all also about to, or threats to the deep state because they had information pertaining to these type of things. And I'm going to read you the names of them. Some of them you'll know, and some of them you probably never heard of. But in some way, they had some information that could hurt the government. Anyway, Isaac Cappy, Seth Rich, Nancy Schaefer, who was a senator. You could read about her. She has an interesting case. Martin Burns, another senator by the name of Bobby Franklin, Robert Brown, Gary Webb. This was an interesting one. He was a suicide, but yet he shot himself twice in the head. Mike Hastings, Karen Silkwood, rock star Chris Cornell, Princess Diana, Matt Simmons, Clay Shaw, J. Edgar Hoover, Elaine Roberts, Marilyn Monroe, Slobodan Milosevic, Kenneth Lay, who was about to drop a bomb on the financial crisis that was going on in America, and the Federal Reserve. We had a whole bunch of information supposedly on the Federal Reserve. Anyway, these are just some of the names. There's many more, but these are just some of the names that I know of and I've heard of that had information and wanted to come forward against the cabal, against governments throughout the world, and they all suddenly died of all these ways I just explained. Anyway, I want you to hear this story about Coolio because I'm sure many of you never heard of it or don't know, but it's interesting to say the least. Anyway, check it out.
Coolio was telling me about how a couple of, I'm not going to say no names, but some big top hats of the industry were coming at him. Males, by the way, were coming at him asking for sex. You know, they were coming at him talking about some child trafficking stuff, and you know, we were going to expose it all.
There's a lot of shit I know that I want to tell people. It's a lot of things that I want to teach, but I'm afraid. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm scared because I got 4 grandchildren, and I got children that are in this world. I got people I care about, and I got people that I care about that don't necessarily believe what I believe.
Yeah,
and I'm not. I have no fear of death, and I think that those that would oppose my beliefs, they've probably done enough. If somebody's after me or if somebody's watching me, then they know enough about me to know that I have no fear of death. So killing me don't mean shit. It just confirms that what I said was true. But I do have a fear of them hurting my family. So I'm scared about those things. I don't talk about everything I know because I don't want nobody in my family to be hurt.
I'm gonna be real. I'm upset. So many different things that we were gonna talk about, exposing the industry, exposing a lot of the stuff that's happening in this nation, dealing with the government, et cetera, et cetera. And I remember he was telling me he was worried about talking about certain things because he didn't know what they would do to his family. He wasn't worried about what they would do to him. He was worried about his children. And I was telling him, nah, don't even think like that. You know, just let's do this for the people. And in fact, we could do it educationally, so it could almost seem as if it will be flying up under the radar. But you know, we don't got to go straight direct with it.
I don't want to say political power, but the amount of social power that I was able to achieve. You would think that I would be a prime candidate for this to be, so we could call it something, to be a member of the Illuminati or a member of the elite society or whatever. You would think that they would come at me, and I think they did it sideways though. Nobody never got at me directly and said, we want you to join us and we're doing this. That's never happened. But I will tell you, I've had motherfuckers come at me on some weirdo shit, like on some gay shit. I've had motherfuckers come at me on some, oh, you should do this type shit. And I was like, what? Man, why the fuck would I do that? That make no sense. I view that as being inhuman. I view that as I would never do that.
You know, that's what made me, you know, was like, oh, what? He passed. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's why I was like, hold up, whoa. Because I remember we had a conversation. He was telling me that he was going to do some interviews and he was going to talk about some of this stuff. And I was telling him, I said, just scratch the surface. You don't got to get in full detail with everything. And, you know, he was like, I know, I'm, you know, I was like, yeah, because even though, you know, you want to get this stuff out right now. And that's what he was telling me, you know, he was like, it's mainly about, he want to be there for his children. And, you know, it's just a lot of stuff that was happening behind the scenes that you guys didn't know about. And it was just unfortunate that that the brother's no longer here with us in the physical, but he is with us here.
And here goes the testimony from 1975 where the CIA shares that they had a heart attack gun where they used it to kill people that they deemed necessary to get rid of. So what's happened to this weapon? Why doesn't anyone talk about it anymore? Are they still using it? Things you have to ponder and ask yourself, what is going on and why did the CIA invent this kind of weapon. Look for yourself. Check it out.
Also, I had to find, one time they wanted me to find out if there was such a thing as a poison that was undetectable, especially one that seemed to mimic a heart attack, that would kill someone, but it would appear that they had a heart attack. I did find such a thing.
Does this pistol fire the dart?
Yes, it does, Mr. Chairman, and a special one was developed which potentially would be able to enter the target without perception.
The poison was frozen into some sort of dart, and then it was shot at very high speed into the person, so when it reached the person it would melt inside them, and the only thing would be like one little tiny red dot on their body, which is hard to detect. There wouldn't be a needle left or anything like that in the person.
But also the toxin itself would not appear in the autopsy?
Yes, so that there was no way of perceiving that the target was hit.
Now, you saw the 2 videos for yourself. You saw that Coolio wanted to come out, but he was fearful. I read a list of people who were about to come out, did say some things, and like Julio suddenly passed away from those 4 different ways that I said. Car crash, heart attack, sudden cancer that they couldn't cure, and suicide. Again, I don't really want to delve into the conspiracy theory stuff, but when you find a guy like Coolio who has a large amount of fame, but yet is fearful to come out and talk about things, doesn't want to come out because he fears for his family, and then suddenly dies of a heart attack. Again, many people die of heart attacks. Many people suddenly die. But when you start to look at the amount of people who suddenly die when they had things to say against a so-called cabal of government, CIA, FBI, political elites, and Hollywood child molesters, there's a time you have to say, what exactly is going on? What exactly is happening? And are all of them crazy? Are all of them lying? What happened with that supposed CIA heart attack gun? Is it gone? Did it just disappear? Do we no longer have the technology to use it? Who do they use it on? Why did they use it? Why would they use it? Why would they want to use it to make it look like someone had a heart attack? Again, I don't know if Coolio was attacked by our government, by the CIA, by anybody. But why would he be scared to come out and say these things that he knows or things that he knew and was fearful? Why is it he dies of a sudden heart attack when he's about to come out against the government, when we know the government has these tools? They could sit here and call people who talk about a conspiracy theorist, but you just saw the video where they admitted to having a heart attack gun. Now, I don't know if they used it on Coolio. I don't know if Coolio was ever going to come forward and say any of this. But the question I have is, what exactly is our government doing with stuff like that? Scary. Anyway, I just want you to think, people. I want you to know how dangerous the United States government is and can be. I've been awakened by all the stuff I've seen. I never really would have believed that our government is capable of the things that I've now seen. So this to me is not far-fetched anymore. Someone would have told me this 5-10 years ago, I'd have been like, conspiracy theorists. But when you see what I now have seen, when you hear the things that I hear that our government does, and I now know to be true, when I see the lies every day on TV from our government and the people who govern us, man, I don't doubt anything anymore. When you have all these people like Isaac Cappy, people like Coolio, people like Seth Rich, who are about to come forward and all of a sudden they're gone, you have to start asking, is this what the government of the United States is doing to people? I don't know, but there's some serious questions that we need to ask and find out. And We have to start by getting in the right people in our government that are going to start to investigate all this stuff that our government's been doing, because our government is way out of line from what I've seen over the last 5 years. Our government has gone far beyond the reaches of what a government should, can, and is able to do if they follow the Constitution of the United States. Anyway, I just want you to watch this video. Make of it what you want. Think about it what you want. Think of me what you want. But from what I've seen over the last 5 to 6 years, nothing is beyond reproach from what I think our government can do. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you soon.